How'd you feel about Kenshin this week?
It was good. I was super wrong about Ryuja or whatever that dude's name is.
What did you say?
I thought he was like actually a old school, like he's fought people and stuff, but he's just some dude that likes swords and shit.
He was a fraud.
He's never killed anybody. He's never really fought. I mean, he is super strong though. We were right about that. Like Kenshin even said, like if he actually tried to, because his techniques are super good and he has great swordsmanship. But yeah, he's a lame, bro.
Is he just like, I'm trying to think of what I would compare him to. Like that guy who like always goes to the gym and like practices basketball, but like never plays.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
Or something like that. Someone who's always practicing something but has never really
used it,
does it, or been in it, like seriously. I guess you could say. His character was...
But he was giving Kenshin a run for his money, low-key.
I mean, yeah, he was. I mean, was he? I feel like Kenshin was kind of holding back on him.
He was, yeah. But he couldn't do anything, remember? Because he had the range attack, and then he had the up-close attack. And Kenshin was like, I can't do anything but dodge.
Right, but then they countered him.
Yeah, he threw his freaking sword at his face.
He's a real fighter. And Kenshin was holding back. Like, he wasn't trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, he was
but against somebody else, that he's trashing that person though. Like, it's nothing they could do.
Yeah. That's true. He's definitely up there. In
he's
the
not
series.
better than the other guy though.
Ayoshi?
Yeah.
No, he's not better than him. Ayoshi would kill him.
Yeah.
Probably. But yeah, I like this episode too. I thought it was really good. Especially with like the dramatics of the two kids, Yahiko. And I think his name is Yuta. Because in the beginning of the episode, Yahiko like chokes up the doctor. I'm like, yo, Yahiko, like, calm down, bro.
He's like, save him. He's like, save him. What are you good for?
What are you talking about?
He's like, doctors aren't. He's like, doctors aren't omnipotent, bro. We can't fix his arm, bro. We can stop it from hurting, but his arm is fucked.
Like, I like that we saw so much emotion from Yahiko, especially since he wasn't really part of the show for a lot of it so far since his introduction. But he really cares about you. Yeah, he had that one whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, from like, this is episode 17. Like, he had like 2 or 3 out of 17 episodes. He kind of was.
The girl doesn't get any episodes really either.
Yeah, she doesn't. Maybe she'll get one soon, or maybe not. I don't know. She just be in the dojo training Yahiko, I guess. I don't know what she does. Really, neither Sanosuke. Since his introduction, he hasn't had many like big. Well, he was kind of part of the drug part.
Yeah,
with Mega Man.
He fought the guy. Broke his hands.
So he had that. But yeah, Fraudjuta, I was surprised to hear that he had never killed anyone. And I remember one of these, I just thought it was funny.
His bluff.
Yeah.
And that's when he froze up.
And even
Yahiko was like, kill me. He was like, kill me then.
Yeah, kill me.
Yeah, kill me.
Yeah, he captured Yahiko. He was like, kill me. And then he was like, he just didn't do it. So yeah.
He didn't lick his blood on in the anime.
Nah. He's just a small guy too. And then another part that was interesting. Did you watch like, I feel like this part was like after the ending song. When he like couldn't kill the grandma and her child. Did you see that part?
I did not see that. I did not see that. So that must have been at the end. I did not see that. He was going to kill a grandma. Why?
At the end of the episode, right? Because Kenshin the whole time calls his bluff, says you're not a real killer. Like, give up sword fighting, before someone actually kills you. And then at the end of the episode, I'm pretty sure after the post-credit song, there's a scene where he's like sitting in the bushes and this old lady and little girl are like at a Buddha shrine like praying, and he's just sitting there, and then he's like holding his sword and like breathing heavy, like he's like stalking them, like basically like about to like slice them, and then he slices, and then it cuts away, so it, and then a head like falls off like a shadow, and then it's the Buddha shrine. And then they're like, and the old lady's like, "Oh, what happened to the shrine?" And then she puts the head back on, and then he's just like breathing heavy and tense, and he just like looks disappointed and walks away.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at her now.
Because he couldn't kill them. Because he was trying to, like, I guess, prove himself.
This is right after he fought Kenshin. This dude's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. I thought, as I was like, you probably didn't see that part. Like, he was trying to prove himself to see if he could actually kill someone, and then he couldn't do it. I don't know why he chose an old lady and a little girl, but
yeah, I don't know.
At first, I thought he was actually gonna do it, and then Kenshin would have to come after him again, but he didn't do it. So I'm sure his story is over. And then, besides that, I really liked the train scene and the scene before that where the dad was just like, we're just moving to Germany next week because like
he wants to forget swordsmanship, and they got the best doctors.
Yeah,
the best medicine.
So he's just like, yeah, we're getting out of here next week. Train to Germany or something. Which I'm sure they didn't take a train. It's probably like a train then a boat or something. And then the group obviously tries to see them off, but they didn't really have anything to say. And I guess it's like, what can you say?
He lost
what would you say to someone who like, I don't know, whose dream is like seemingly like gone?
Well, what I would say is like basically what Yahiko did, but I wouldn't like try to fight him, but I'd be like, dude, just because you lost an arm doesn't mean you can't fight. You know, you can create your own style of swordsmanship.
True.
And you can still, you know who, you probably don't know, but this dude named Hansel, he's the one-armed basketball player. You've seen him?
I think I heard of him.
He's
or seen him somewhere.
He has one arm, but he's still pretty good at basketball. He actually he's on a college team, a D1 college team. He don't really play much because obviously, you know, you can only do so much with one arm. But like the fact that he was able to ball out in high school and get looks at like, you know, scholarships and stuff and make it to the next level. Obviously, he won't go pro. Like I doubt anybody with one arm could go pro, but he pushed the limits. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To where you can get. And I feel like with swordsmanship, it's completely different. You could definitely have one arm and still be crazy good.
I feel like most swordsmen that I see in anime that use samurai swords use one arm anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, that was interesting. Another question that this episode brought up for me was like, Yuta's dad feels like really responsible for Yuta getting hurt. Like, would you feel responsible if your kids' goals hurt them?
I mean,
like if they wanted to really be like, say, like a pro football player, or like they wanted to do like boxing or like MMA, and they got like seriously injured, would you feel responsible for that?
No, not responsible, because like that's what they wanted to do, and that comes with the territory of the sport. You know, like that's what we signed up for. It's a combat sport. It's a physical sport. Injuries can always happen. And I feel like if you let them know that, like, that's a possibility. Obviously, you don't want to just bring that up all the time, but it's a possibility it can happen.
Would you even let your kid do any of those?
Football, no.
Say I'm still on kind of like the edge of like, would I let my kid play football? I feel like I play football basketball, and I turned out fine, but I don't know. Well, basketball, yeah, like I mean, I guess you could like hurt your legs, but
wrestling, yeah, but boxing and MMA, maybe. But
you would let them do that over football?
What?
Boxing and
boxing
MMA.
and MMA. Yeah, because it's a lot better in terms of like the way they look after the fighter after the fight. Like they check up on them, and there's X amount of time that passes before you fight again. But like with football is very like tough it out, even if you're hurt, go and play. Whereas in fighting, that's not the case. Like if you're injured, you can't fight. Well, I mean you can,
Right.
but you're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're injured during a fight, yeah, you got to either finish the fight or like they'll stop it because you can't finish. But with football, you'll literally people have like tears and shit, and they're still like playing. It's like, bro, like what the
Yeah.
heck? You know what I mean? So
Football does have a tough it out culture. I feel like all pro sports kind of have a tough it out culture.
and then if you look at like the CTE and stuff in football, let me see compared to boxing and
That's like my main concern is like concussions. Cause I don't know. I if I did have a concussion, it was maybe one time during football, but like I'm not even sure if that was actually a concussion or not, or if I just like hurt like my jaw. But like concussions, I feel like weren't super common, at least on my team. It also has a lot to do with like training and like how well you train your team, as far as like tackling and taking hits and just like not putting your head down and stuff like that.
I would say both. I don't think fighting is worse. I think football might be slightly better, but I don't know. I feel like there's more checks and balances with combat sports prior to going into the fight. And you know this is what you're signing up for. Like
Yeah.
you're literally going in to punch somebody and get your face punched. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like with football, I feel like it's more masked. Like obviously they're like, yeah, it's tough, it's physical, but I don't know. Like it's more. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. There's definitely more checks and balances in like a player could like have a concussion but like still keep going and no one would
Yeah.
really know they have a concussion per se.
Yeah.
Especially like in high school and stuff. Cuz like the lower end level you get, the less checks there are. Like at some point like you're just having like gym and health teachers responsible
Yeah.
for like your kid's health on the field, so it really depends on like the level and the average school and how much care they're putting into the program. So I get that. Football, I'm very much still leaning towards wouldn't be okay with them playing, but
If anything, I would prefer wrestling compared to like actual like striking sports.
okay.
Because yeah, with wrestling you can like you can snap some shit up, and you can like get choked out, but it's not blunt trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't know how common it is for someone to get like seriously injured at like a little like school wrestling event. I have no idea. Wrestling is one of those things I didn't really watch. I probably went to like one wrestling event at my school,
Yeah, I've never been to one.
and that was just because we had like some like ranked, like state ranked people on our team.
Mhm.
I think the basketball coach just wanted us to go or something. I don't remember. um, let me see. Oh yeah, and this is another question that I think about a lot. Like, how much guidance would you give your kid as they grow up? Like, how hands on would you be about like what they do in like their interests and hobbies? I feel like my parents weren't very like once I got to like probably like 12, 13, my
Mhm.
parents weren't really like hands on about my interests or like what I did.
I'll be semi hands on. You never want to be like the dad or the mom that's like completely controlling like how they train and how they practice. Like that's just annoying. Um, I would definitely like give them some guidance, but I would obviously let them kind of do their own thing. I would show some interest in it, so I know what's going on, and try to like find ways to help them get better. But I wouldn't force anything upon them. Like, you should train this way, you should do it this way. I would just give them like little tips, like, hey, maybe you should try it this way or try it out this way and stuff like that. But
Like, you wouldn't be like, you got to try out for a basketball team,
no, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
or you have to do a sport, or you have to do
Yeah,
this
I wouldn't
club.
do that either. I'd be like, hey, you want to try it? And if they're like, yeah, then all right. But if they don't, then they don't.
Is there ever a point where you would step in, say like they're not really doing anything, or they're doing too much? Like, if your kid, if all they do is like, I don't know, binge watch TV shows, or like, I don't know, they just play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that, for me, I feel like I would feel hypocritical because there was a lot of days where we were just playing video games.
Yeah, same.
As
I'm just
kids.
playing video games. I'm not doing shit else.
It's probably be different for us, I guess, because we still play video games. I assume if we had kids, we would still be playing, so we could
Yeah.
probably still be involved in that culture with them. But like,
Like, my
I
dad
don't
still
know.
plays video games.
Yeah, my dad doesn't play video games. I tried to get him into them a little bit, but my parents don't really do that. But like, would there ever be a point where you step in where you're like, you know, they're not really getting much like real life social activity?
Mm.
I feel like I would try to take them out sometimes if they don't really go
I
out
mean,
that
I would want
much.
them to get some kind of physical activity. Now, socially, I mean, we play games like, dude, I met you on a fucking video game, and now we're doing a
Yeah.
podcast. So it's like, you know what I
10
mean? Like,
years,
you can,
12 years ago.
yeah. So like, I understand that you can make friends online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You still need real life friends though.
Yeah. Which I'm sure, like, no, I don't think anybody just, I mean, there's some people, but I wouldn't force them to necessarily like socialize outside of the game. Like, if you have friends online, that's cool. Obviously, it would be good to also have friends in real life. But I mean, as long as you're not like hurting anybody, you have a friend group and you're active, like you're not getting fat and like it's like hurting your health and you're not socially awkward. Then yeah, it's fine. But if I know my kid's socially awkward, then I would try to like make ways for him to interact with people to get him to not be awkward. But I wouldn't force it. I would try to do it organically. But yeah.
So that's where you would step in. Like, how
Yeah.
would you make sure your kid doesn't get fat?
I'd be like, all right, bro, you getting a little chunky. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Gotta either, I mean, realistically, if a kid gets fat, it's on the parents because you're literally like you're their way of getting food. So if they're getting
Yeah.
fat, it's because you're giving them too much food and they're not doing enough activity. So either you can cut down the amount of food they eat. Now I wouldn't be like, nah, you can't eat.
Yeah, are you gonna count their calories? I feel like you
But
can eat this much and then this much and this.
I mean, I wouldn't like count their calories strictly, but I definitely would try to make sure that they're intaking a good amount of calories. Like, they're not overeating and they're not under eating. Like, they're eating a healthy amount for their age and their weight. And then also, I would also try to get them to be able to exert some kind of physical activities and, you know, exercise a little bit. Like, you don't got to exercise every day and you don't got to eat like strictly the same stuff every day. Like, but it should be some kind of, you know, happy medium. Like, some days you
Okay.
might eat a little bit more, some days you might eat a little bit less. But you're not just going to be eating crazy amounts of food every day and you're not doing anything. That doesn't make any sense. You're just eating to eat because you're not hungry. You shouldn't be hungry. Because like if you're not moving, you're not exerting any, you know, like force or effort or anything, you shouldn't be hungry. Like, I could literally go the whole day without eating if I don't do anything. Because my body, I'm not going to get hungry. I might get like slightly hungry, but I'm not going to get hungry to the point where I got to eat a whole bunch of food. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've
Yeah.
literally been on a game some days and I haven't eaten anything.
Same.
Like, I don't get hungry. I'm just on the game, just chilling. And then also you got to make it fun. Like, exercise should be fun. That's the biggest thing. If exercise isn't fun, obviously they don't want to move if it's not fun. But if they're active at a young age, then they'll carry on. and like I work out, so I probably would take my kid to the gym, but I wouldn't like force them to do certain stuff. Like I wouldn't be super hard on them the first day in the gym. I would build it up, like gradually, and then it'll just be natural because like he's been doing it since he was younger, and it's just like a routine kind of thing.
Yeah, one thing I'll do that I wish my parents did is get my kid in the gym early on and make it like fun as well. Make working out more fun and not like a chore.
Yeah.
All right.